She just said minimum wage as a topic of talking at you about, which is most likely me and no one else. Um, Minimum wage is an issue with, it's always been an issue since they started labor laws and everything. And that's something that a lot of people are influenced by. Minimum wage influences absolutely everyone in the nation, in the world. And right now, minimum wage adjusted for inflation is less than it was in the 70s. It causes some absolutely huge issues with people being able to actually support themselves and provide effective lives for themselves and for their family. And when you have minimum wage as low as it here at 7.35, which 40-hour work week at minimum wage, which doesn't happen very often. Most minimum wage jobs don't let you work that many hours. Um, you don't get enough to be able to support yourself. You can't get an apartment and pay for everything that you need, the insurance for the stuff that you need. Maybe if you don't have a car and you're living alone and you eat ramen and rice roni, and that's it. You might be able to support yourself to some degree, but most likely it's not enough. And I feel like that's a serious problem. Not being able to support yourself doesn't allow for anything extra, and that's always been the sign of progression throughout society. When we get more free time, society progresses. When we were a hunter gatherer society, we didn't have time other than hunting and gathering to be able to survive. When we learned how to plow and sow fields, we were able to gain free time because we could make all the food we need for days at a time. So we were able to do extra things like study science and art and things, progress as a culture. And then when the next one, the Industrial Revolution, came around, we had even more time because stuff was made even faster. So we had more time to progress, and we had the scientific revolution, Einstein bringing through all these wonderful scientific revelations for everyone. Um, and now we have a bit of a problem now where all of these advancements aren't helping at all because people are having to work two jobs, 80, 90 hours a week just to survive and pay for themselves and maybe their kids. And it makes it impossible to progress. It's a serious issue. So if you were to raise the minimum wage, a lot of people have the problem where if you raise it, then everything will cost more. That's not the case. If you raised the minimum wage to $10, it's not going to change the price of a $30,000 car. It's going to stay exactly where it is. Because people who make $10 an hour aren't going to be able to buy a $30,000 car anyway. These minimum wage families would only be able to provide more for their family. The middle income families would see a little bit of change where it might be a bit of an issue where a couple of dollar store things or Walmart things cost a little bit more. But in reality, more people would be able to provide more for their families and have more free time to be able to progress society and culture and art and science and education. Um, so raising minimum wage is where I stand. Obviously, I'd raise it a lot. Um, and I mean, at the same time, that's always one problem. At the same time, I'd like to make sure that middle-income families are able to raise their wages as well, because they would then have more time to be able to do things and progress in society. Um, but if it's just the question just about minimum wage, I raise it, even if it causes a couple of little problems with middle-income families. And honestly, I don't think there would be too many people affected by it. If something that costs $1 now costs $2, um, if there are going to be a couple of issues, but I feel like there will always be options for people to be able to save money when providing for their family. And if minimum wage was raised, they'd be able to provide those things even better.